Hello, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Airsoft Radio. It is the 25th of March, and if you are here, you'll notice it is under a different name than usual, because that's right, over the last few weeks, I've been working with two more co-hosts, and together a new show was born. So today we launch Airsoft Radio, a weekly collaboration show where we talk about all things Airsoft, bring on special guests, discuss the most Airsoft recent news, or recent Airsoft news even. Today on the show, we're going to introduce the new lineup of hosts, discuss some of the coolest stuff we saw at IWA, chat with Phoenix Feather.
What's up, guys? What's poppin'?
And also decide, is Airsoft really organised littering? Welcome to episode 1. Now, typically, I won't be doing this in every episode, but as it is the first one, I think we should really introduce our co-hosts. So, now, prior to the show, I spoke to both of them and said, can you give us a brief bio about yourself? Now, 1 or 2 lines, something funny, quirky. And my typical one is... Let's just check we are live. We are, there we go. We are going through. My typical one is I'm the slayer of Yukasa, the defender of the faulty mic, and one retailer likes to slag me off by calling me the self-proclaimed king of Airsoft. So that was, the bar was set. So we will go with ladies first. We have call sign Tactiquin, aka Sarah, and hers was, as she is the newest Airsofter on the team, thirsty for CQB and pretty guns. She's that shallow. Definitely not a true operator. So welcome to Airsoft Radio. Thanks for being a co-host.
Thank you, Graham. It's nice to be here.
Well, why don't you give everyone a brief introduction about yourself, how long you've been playing, and then I'll introduce our next.
Yeah, well, I'm Sarah, call sign Tactiquin, and I have been playing for 2.5 years now. I don't have that larger weaponry as yet, but I am slowly getting there, and I'm building up my knowledge. I don't know as much as I would like to know, but I'm learning as I'm going along, and it's been a fantastic journey so far. Met so many people, and made so many new friends. So yeah, and I'm excited to be here.
Oh, it is fantastic to have you here. So now the second co-host, immediately below me, Jim, Platoon Jim, and his bio was he's currently working on a time machine to go back when FPS was low, Yukara didn't exist, and everyone didn't want a DMR for that little bit of extra edge. And I definitely feel those pains. Jim, welcome to the show. I knew it. I knew he'd time out just to do the introduction.
Oh, no.
He's gone.
Okay, well, while Jim is coming back, let's go straight over to, of course, our special guest of this evening, someone who I've wanted on the show for a long time now, and I'm glad we finally got it organised. It is Phoenix Feather, a.k.a. Felix. Welcome to the show.
What's poppin', guys? Thank you for inviting me, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Thanks so much for guest number 1. We'll just hide the background while Jim comes back. So first off, what has everyone been up to?
Well, yeah, so for all people who don't really know me, I'm a Airsoft player / Instagrammer / YouTuber based in Germany. And yeah, I've been up to a lot of work recently. So I've been a little inactive on the YouTube side, but still very active on the Instagram side, I would say.
Your Instagram feed is something to be admired for sure.
Thank you.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm really trying to do a little bit of a different stuff, to try out new stuff with the carousel thingies, recently with the multi-posts and all that stuff. So try out different stuff to appear. Definitely.
And Sarah, what have you been up to recently? Been playing or anything?
Was that comment just there that came up? Was that for me?
That was for you, yes. That was about you.
Well, no, actually, I haven't really played since November. It's been a really long winter slumber. it's definitely time to sling those BBs again. Absolutely.
Get back out there. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Well, no, I've been going all over the place, mostly in my home county of Kent. But there's so many sites in Kent. We're really spoiled where we are. Unfortunately, not a lot of them are CQB or indoors. Most of them are woodland, and most of them are very hilly. But no, there's a particularly good site in Dover that it hasn't been open that long, and it's a multi-story car park, and you literally play on one level. It's very up close, closer than you would ever be. And the games are very unusual and very different than what I've played before. So I've been having some fun the last few months over the winter. So yeah,
That's AAA Airsoft, right?
it is. It is AAA. That's right.
Yeah, very, very cool. And then
Very painful and a lot of fun.
That's what it's all about. Yes.
Exactly.
Here we go, Jim. Welcome to the stream.
Yes, we can do it.
Sorry, mate. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I did welcome you into the show. Why don't you give a brief introduction as to who you are, how long you've been playing?
As we were discussing just before we went live, it sounds like too long I've been playing. Crikey, it's got to be well over 13 or 14 years now. Been working in the industry though for the last 10, so that's been fun in the retail side of it. But yeah, it's been eventful. Hopefully you're still hearing me all right though.
Yep, loud and clear.
Good.
Loud and clear.
Good.
And obviously you haven't been playing as much as you've been working on the weekends, but have you been out anytime recently?
Last Saturday I was out. Our mutual friend Terry Little running an event down at Bush Valley, which is a local site to us. It's a battle sim, mil sim sort of mashup. You know, trying to get people into that sort of longer playing format of game rather than normal skirmishes. So,
No. Yeah, I mean, I do love that site. It needs a little bit of TLC, but I know they're well on the way to working on there.
Yeah, they just need more love and support down there. That's all it is.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I haven't played now for 3 weeks. I'm starting to get the shakes.
Ask me, mate.
Withdrawal symptoms.
Dang it. I'm dry since November.
But I'll be out this weekend looking for.
Oh,
now Graham's gone.
you can't as well swing. Okay, it's covered in time with Hadia. Hanging out. Okay, we saved the stream with Hadia.
Oh.
But you made it back. Okay, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. On the mouse. But yeah, I was saying, looking forward to playing.
You know this is live, right?
What?
So, right. You can hear me loud and clear? Yes?
Absolutely.
Good. I clicked the back button on my mouse. I was like, that's not a good move. But there we go. Back in the game. Okay, so guys, first time being here. It is a new show, and as you may notice on a few of the comments, we have an F there if you're logging in from Facebook. We're also live on YouTube and Twitch for the first time ever, making it a multi-platform show. So if you don't want to watch this on YouTube, on Facebook, you can always go across to YouTube and vice versa. Feel free to leave the comments throughout any of the platforms and we can bring them up. So if you've got questions that you'd like to ask throughout the show or just want to throw in any extra banter, feel free to go along and I'll do my very best to bring those comments up. Now, as this is the very first episode on the show, I just wanted to say this is the way things will work. If you've seen the AirsoftNation live show, it's completely different. So the way it'll work, for the first few minutes, it's just going to be talking off topic, just like we have now, finding what everyone's been up to, what everyone's been playing at. And then we're going to go to our main discussion of the evening. This week, it's all about IWA, which I don't know if it's about Felix, but it feels like a long time ago already.
A long time ago, Jesus. But I was talking to Andy, and I had to recover a solid week from that.
Yeah.
That weekend.
Yeah,
It was tough.
Jim went to SHOT Show in January. I mean, you didn't get a lot of R&R when you came back, right?
Never do. You know, it's a problem. It's business. You just got to get on with it.
Back to work, yeah. So we will be talking about IWA to find out if there's anything of people's interest. Obviously, Felix went there and he had a completely different experience to me because he got away with something really sneaky on the Friday or Saturday evening. We'll come to that in a minute. And then after we talk about the main topic, we're going to talk a little bit to Felix personally about some of the stuff he's involved with, what he's doing, and then Airsoft news. Now, this week, there's only one bit of news we're going to talk about, which is the key story of Norway. Their council or municipal have declared Airsoft as just a organised littering event and therefore rejected a recent application to play at a woodland or grassland site. So this will be an interesting one, but that will be at the end of the stream. Obviously, once that's all done and you've listened to our rambling between me and Jim, the two old men, the cool girl, and the Instagram guy.
The Insta-hole, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I refer to myself as an Insta-hole.
I try to do my best not to insult guests too quickly. I'll leave that for the co-hosts. We will then share ourselves and tell you how to find out where you can subscribe to all our multiple channels and leave it at that for another week. So, IWA, and look, we got our first YouTube comment there coming from random guy Kev.
Way.
Well, I'll be talking about him in a minute, actually. So, IWA, Felix, your second event. Sarah, you've not been yet.
No. I think it's more for media people, isn't it, than just random little airsoft nerds.
These Instagrammers, they get everywhere, though.
Oh, so I'm not up that rank yet. I'm not up there yet.
Yeah, you got to work for that ticket, man.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so let's talk about that. Well, Jim comes back in again. It's weird. We had a whole test last week, no issues, and somebody's playing up this week, so we'll sort that out during the...
that's first episode, man. It has to be like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Random Kev knows that. We when I did the live show last season, first episode in, he's all excited, and literally my internet cable on the road caught fire and severed itself. I had an engineer come out the next day, and he brought out this charred remains of the cable, and I was like,
that's
wow.
amazing.
It's like, that's first night shows for you.
But talking about IWA, I did see a lot of different things, exciting things, not so exciting things come out of IWA that people were obviously posting about. So if we could talk about your favourite things, maybe Phoenix, or what you saw, Graham.
Yeah, so IWA, Internationale Waffenausstellung for the German guys, right? So International Weapon Trade Fair. With a really solid department of airsoft, I would say. Like in comparison to SHOT Show, I believe it's like massive.
Yeah.
And it's a whole weekend. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. And it's big. It is big. So you will walk a lot to see the newest of the newest stuff. No, but it's a great experience, right?
Yeah, and it's not open to everyone. I mean, me and you both can attest to that getting in and getting a pass is not an easy process.
Yeah, getting in is super hard. So it's like, obviously, it's for Fachbesucher, we say, like for only like, how do you say that? How do you say that in English?
Media and trade, isn't it?
Yeah, media trade. Yeah, trade, exhibitors, blah, blah, blah. And so I had super hard troubles to get a ticket this year. And Graham was so nice to help me a little bit how to set this whole thing up. And it worked. But what I heard from many places also is that, the rules have been really, really hardened this year, especially for airsofters. I think they didn't want so many just random people running around. Yeah. They want more people who are really actually connected to the industry to be there to do their thing, I would say. Like to connect to manufacturers, companies, whatever.
Yeah. Provide that media coverage, don't you?
Exactly.
I mean, and Jim will know even from SHOT Show, again, another trade show. That's the biggest trade show in the world, but it's definitely more towards real silver and airsoft. Getting in is not an easy step, right?
No, not at all. You've got to be. They do a lot of vetting of anyone that applies to go, and if you don't meet the criteria, then we've had guys that work in the shop with us that either vetting has taken longer, or in some cases they've out and out refused without documents and pay slips to prove that you're in the industry and all those sorts of things. So it's but it's weird at the same time, because it used to be like a really closely guarded thing. They didn't want people taking pictures. They didn't want anyone spoiling the surprise beforehand. And yet now anyone with a camera phone can go around and photograph any stall that's there, and put anything out. So it's changed quite a bit in the time that I've been going to shows, and
media guys are in everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which I think is good.
But you're right. I mean,
because there's no surprise anymore.
But it always takes, like, for a real surprise, it always takes a couple of years. Like, I think from last year to this year, not so much stuff happened. In a sense,
true,
there's like so much new stuff. Of course, there's some like things you want to see that are new or coming new, but it's like nothing groundbreaking. That's going to take a couple of more years, right?
But it's also in this, like, from a non-media person, the race to be first by everyone has kind of ruined any build-up that companies can throw at a product or a brand launch or whatever it is, because
mate's cutting out.
Oh, I really wanted to hear that as well.
Oh, you just cut out. Go. Ruin that kid in my seat.
And then, but no, all I'm saying is that it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to build these brands up, only for one person that can derail whatever that plan is. And I mean, I don't know if because I've been cutting in and out, I don't know if you've already talked about the big surprise that was at IWA, the big showcase that everybody's talking about.
Not yet. We haven't got to that yet. I definitely want to hold on to that one.
Yeah, but I think if you do it right with a release for a show, you can grab a lot of attention. So you can also use that for your advantage in a way that you can use all the people who are coming and photographing all your stuff to really hype them up in this exact moment. And I think they start to realize that a little better.
But I also think that first photograph, if it becomes a negative, or the first review out the gate that's negative, that starts the snowball against it, and it's through no fault of the company. I mean, Graham and I have discussed this several times about people that will go out and create a negative video just because it will get them more hits than putting out a positive one will.
Well, look at the GBLS 1600 rifle. Have you had a shot with it, Felix?
Yes,
Okay.
Not at the show, but I tested it somewhere else.
So
which gun is this? Which gun is this we're talking about?
So the GBLS DAS system is 1,600 pounds-ish. It's a professional training weapon, so it's meant to be designed for maximum amount of realism in both functionality. So you'll have a proper working bolt, proper bolt carrier. Again, you'll get the lock after 30 rounds, and it's got a proper trigger pull, so it's not going to be spongy.
Yeah, it merges two areas of airsoft, like the GBBR and the like normal electric gun, into one body.
Yeah.
So you have like rear moving parts, but it's powered with the battery. So
But they had the Mark 1 out, and I don't know if many people know, but they had the Mark 1 out, and you'll see, if you even search online, you'll get a lot of reviews, and it'll be a really negative review, but that was actually the Mark 1, which that company sold on, and the GBLS DAS now is basically a different evolution of it, but yet they're still suffering from that initial review.
I bet that if you don't like follow the thing, you don't really know. Like I know, like when the first reviews came out from Brain Exploder, and he had like sometimes the BBs start flying left and right, but then they took all those stuff from all the YouTubers, all the people who have been testing, and they developed like the second model, and now it works actually crazy. And I advise anyone to test it out. It's really crazy for the first time to shoot it with the correct trigger pull. What is it, like 8 pounds? I don't know, but really 4.
The new ones are between 3 and 5, averaging around about the 4 mark. They're aiming.
It is so heavy. If you're used to a normal AEG, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's completely different feeling. But if you're used to the real steel world, then it's definitely more familiar ground. But I mean, I think that's when you get that kind of review issues. As we said before, me and Jim said before about some products that have been blasted only for the product to be absolutely fine.
Oh. How is Mike?
I haven't tried Mike yet. I will be talking about that one shortly because I have a new grenade launcher coming in. That was the only thing. I haven't got my launcher. So I'll be using it this weekend for the first time ever at a CQB site.
Nice.
So
everyone's going to die.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So,
which site are you going to, Graham? Sorry.
Reaper Ops at the fort in Rochester.
Okay. All right. I need to get there.
I will be using this. Now, we are going to test it in the safe zone first, so that the site owners, because he's never seen one, so he wants to know what they are like. But if you haven't seen the latest video about random guy Kev, I think it's called Dizzy Bat Master Mike. Do you remember that game?
I've seen it.
You've all played it when drunk, put your head on a stick, run around 10 times, and then you have to do something. Picture 2 guys in a pit running around 10 times and then having to grab a grenade launcher and shooting each other. They've got one master mic between them, and it's whoever gets there and gets the shot off first. Highly, highly entertaining. And at the end of the day, I mean, they're shooting up close, and it's absolutely fine. So I do think, again, that bit of that scare tactic of people worried, I don't see any deaths occurring anytime soon.
I was at a site Sunday where they banned 40 mics, essentially, or rather than banned them, they reserved judgment until they saw one, live. We did a demo of it.
Oh, Jim.
A demo?
We did a demo of it. Oh, there he's back.
Yeah, we did a demo of it and everything was fine. Tomorrow morning, me and Virgin Media are having strong words. Most of them ending it off.
Yeah, that was like me earlier when I had the internet cable out. There we go. Random guy Kev is there. Dizzy Bat with the master bat. Highly recommend. If you're looking at the master bat, you're worried about the pain or anything like that, have a look at that and you'll see that there are 2 guys running around and hitting each other with it from a meter away, while entertainingly Kev's hiding under a desk, rather dizzy so. But it's a very funny video and well played.
I gotta check that out later. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic video. So yeah, I'll be using the master mic. Obviously, they were showing them off at IWA. Did you get to have a look, Felix?
Yeah, I saw Nico using it. I saw the people trying it, but at that exact moment, I couldn't go inside because they didn't have enough safety goggles. So I was just watching from outside. But it looks impressive, but also fun.
Absolutely. So I think while Jim is here, we shall talk about the biggest announcement from IWA. Something that everyone's talking about even now to an extent. The new pro dance. Now, if you haven't seen this, I'm actually going to do what Sarah said earlier. I'm going to see if this works. Let's switch the banner over. All right, this is going to be an interesting one.
Uh-huh.
So, right, let's go with that.
Is it going to work?
Oh, yes, we are, but I do need to just quickly enable that. This I will do. Let me come back to that in a minute then. What I want to do is I will have a look there at when you type New Pro into YouTube.
Oh no, it's got to be New Pro IWA, and that is the first thing that come up. The first things that come up, yeah.
New Pro Dance is the most talked about part of IWA.
Nothing to do with any guns or anything different, just this dance.
So, have we all seen it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely not doing the dance.
I was hoping.
I've been practicing all week, but I haven't quite nailed it out. My Austin Powers impression, just not doing it yet.
Hopefully soon then.
So let's go around the table. Who wants to start first with your thoughts on the new pro dance?
Well,
don't all shout at once.
Shall I go first?
Go for it, Sarah.
My first thought was why, first of all, and a lot of the time I noticed, yes, of course they had gun in hand, but for some of it they didn't, and they were just doing some sort of strange dance, and I thought, well, they weren't wearing anything with the words neutral on it. I was very confused. I thought, why? the people that were probably clapping were the people that probably they paid to clap. But yeah, so that's my opinion of it. I just was very confused, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one who was very confused.
Well, someone might get a Raven sponsorship.
Okay, let's go with Felix. You were there. I presume you saw it, and don't tell me you went to all 9 showings.
I did not see it in person, so I was coming into the trade fair. I was a little late, and I pull up YouTube, and Nico's live streaming. I'm like, okay, I click his live stream. Like, where is he? I can find him. Yeah? And I look and I see these people dancing, and it's like, I'm at the new pro dance. Oh my god! And I was just like, what the F is happening? Yeah? I'm just surprised, And I laughed at the beginning, like, what the heck is going on? But then in the end, like, I rushed there and I saw, I think, like the last couple steps they were doing, last moves. But I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny in a way that, like, they just, like, they tried really, really hard, actually, to do, like, a good performance, and I thought it was funny. I think it was a great, like, gag. And
would
it's
you
on
say the
purpose.
people there?
Yeah, everyone talked about it. Everyone.
Yep. Okay.
And
James.
that's why it was good.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I mean, New Pro have managed to do something that has got everyone talking.
Yeah, and it was not negative.
Yeah.
It was a positive thing, right? It was like something funny, and they could laugh about themselves, It's like...
Well, I also think there's a bit of a disconnect, because if you watch some people's videos, you can see that there's a couple of TV screens up, and the TV screens tell a bit more of what's going on than the dance does alone. So, I mean, I wasn't there, but I've seen some of it, and there were different chapters to it on different brands, and one section about A&K, another about Raven pistols. So I think that kind of got lost in translation a little bit. But also when you've got an audience.
Here come back. Well, he's not coming back. Oh, there.
No. Well, I can understand why they would have something that say something that. Oh, God, he's back. I'll stop.
No, go. My terrible internet connection.
I was just going to say, I can understand it at something where the public are going to it and it's all public, but this was a trade show, so where you're doing business with different people that are in the industry. Yeah, but it didn't fit for me really with what the show was supposed to be, and I wasn't even there. So
I think they're having fun, right? I don't know. I thought it was a fun thing for having fun.
Yeah,
and they're there to make an impression, which is what they did. It
was a good one.
If anything, they won IWA if it was a competition, because try and Google anyone else in IWA, and I bet you don't get as many hits. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were saying earlier on about that race to the first, the first one there. I mean, all the media guys there that were filming were immediately like, who's got it on Instagram, who's got it on Twitter, who's got it on YouTube, straight away everyone's jumping on it, who's getting it wherever they can. And like you say, those kind of first clips. I will say, I mean, I thought it was an odd decision, but at the end of the day, New Pro are big enough now where they don't need to go asking for business. They're a size now where people come to them and say, please distribute our goods. We want to get it in customers' hands. I think it would have been better if they had new products to show, something where they were doing that along with new products rather than existing products. So from my point of view, it's like, there's nothing new, and moved on. I thought it was funny. There was definitely, it did feel weird though to be at a trade show and see this occur. If it was at National Airsoft Festival or one of the big airsoft festivals you get throughout the year, or even one of the, I want to say smaller events, but an event like the Airsoft International 500, AI 500 events, where it's all players, I would see it probably going down a lot better than a trade show. I mean, opposite there were real steel gun owners who were carving stocks, out of real wood, and they were just looking at this stage all the time, every 3 hours, playing this Austin Powers music and the Walking Dead music and watching dancers. It was, but like you say, publicity wise, it worked. And maybe, at the end of the day, they're not worried about getting they're not worried about in business in terms of, is this going to change our opinion? We're having fun.
It says something about the company if they can publicly say they can laugh about themselves a little bit, It's like, I think it's very charming.
Yeah, it was like I say, an odd one, but it's 2 weeks later. We're still talking about it. It's on the YouTube. When you ever search New Pro IWA, it's going to be a talking point for a long time to come, no doubt, for sure. I'd be interested to see what they do next year now. I'm already thinking, well, if they're doing that, what are they doing next year?
How are they going to top that?
What are they going to be doing?
More backflips,
While Jim is feeling up, and Jason was just saying there, it's silly for them not to have the logo on the dancers. I think you get great oversight there, which is a good shout. Jim, you were just saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, again, this might be a difference between SHOT Show and IWA, but we're in a sort of industry where it's very easy to put girls in tight tops to have on your stand to draw attention. And New Pro didn't do that. They chose to do something else. I like girls in tight tops as much as anyone. But New Pro didn't do that. They used something else to draw people's eye, and again, maybe they should be a bit more commended by it. I mean,
that's a brilliant point.
Yeah,
to be honest,
it is,
I didn't even consider that. I mean, you're 100% correct. We've seen it at other stands where that happens. I mean, the infamous one where Norwich goes to the ASG booth, asks a question about a competitor's product, and they went, "Oh yeah, it's the best rifle," or something to that extent. So you're 100% correct. There's it's a different form of marketing, and an odd one, but it worked. I mean, it could have easily gone the other way, and I did just think that the online side of the community definitely didn't get the same perception that people there did. I mean, there was a huge crowd every single time, and it wasn't just airsoft companies stopping over and airsoft people stopping over. There were too many people for that not to be. And it was just a massive choke point whenever they were doing the show. No, this is not a... Someone says it's a measure drug. No, it's my Strike Force mug.
I did wonder.
It's a bibby. No.
Yeah.
Normally my beer. So, I mean, it's still a talking point at this point. I'll be interested in what they try and do next year. I'll be interested in what other companies that were there think of it, and we'll try next year around. I do wonder if they
everyone will be doing dances next year.
I hope so. I really
That's
hope
what it'll
so.
be.
Then they're gonna have an IWA dance.
Yeah, I was gonna say
perform to get in.
Yeah, Paul from ASG cartwheeling around the ASG stand at beer o'clock. It is a definite an interesting one, and like you say, it's worked. They didn't need to. They weren't trying to sell anything yet. Everyone was at their stand, and I know they were all very proud of what had been done, and they were happy with it there. So it was fantastic to see. Jim, you got a fan? Jim's
hey, hello, Paul. You all right?
Okay, so let's talk about more serious stuff at IWA there, though. ICS stand, the Hero Arms CQB. I thought I was going to hate it, and much to Pete, Jim's boss, much to Pete's distaste, I actually really liked it. Phoenix,
We're
what
going to
did
stop
you think?
being friends, Graham.
Yeah. Did you see the Hero?
I don't think I touched it. I might
And you
have
didn't get.
I know I didn't
get
touch
the
it. I
disease.
didn't touch it.
So last year it was this 3D printed or barely made, and you couldn't hold it. I mean, it was going to fall apart in your arms. This year you could hold it. It's actually really comfortable. If you like your longer rifles at the end of the day. I'm not a P90 fan, but now I'm somewhat worried. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm a closet P90 fan. That could really be the end point there. But hopefully not. Hopefully this is just a one-off that I like to hear arms CQR. It'd be interesting to see what the reviews are like as well, because that's still yet to really hit the UK shores. Will you be getting them in?
What, me?
Yeah.
Hope not. Really hope not. That's not my cup of tea at all. I mean, each to their own and all that, but I mean, I love Hera Arms. Yeah, they're a wicked company. They make some really good products, but yeah, that's not. No. Progress ended at the M4, so you know. Why would you want anything else? Unless it's an MP7, but you know.
Yeah. Just going back to that previous one about what's going to happen next year, Mike's already nailed it. It's going to be the Airsoft Eurovision.
Oh, that was so good.
Nil le point.
Yep. I wonder what Trent's going to do next year. Trent from New Pro will be up there next time round.
We'll be there covering, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to skip over the Hero Arms then. The Makarov. Did anyone see the Makarov? I've been talking about this, but most people just don't seem interested. Man, it's amazing.
You're going to have to explain this to me, Graham. What's a...
So, it's like this, but smaller. It's a potential rival to the Mark 23, which is most snipers' sidearm. It has a potential
to be as quiet.
On a smaller size. I mean, the Mark 23 is quite unwieldy. Holsters were always an issue. Now that's been resolved, but the chance of carrying something a lot smaller is definitely tempting. Whether we start seeing any developments afterwards, because I think that's the thing. The Mark 23 is so good because of the community, because of all the developments. Whether we're going to see that same community, and that's where I doubt it, because we've got a bit of a kind of a TM master race going on there with on my mark.
Isn't Norwich coming out with like something like his own Mark 23 anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, beyond Norwich himself, an ex-expert Brad is in the chat, so maybe he knows, but it does look like he's doing a Mark 23 riff-off with his own.
I'm pretty sure something like this is coming, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a Mark 23. He's actually posted in the Mark 23 community.
Oh, he did? Okay, I didn't know.
I'm glad I'm not the only one there. Look, nobody's talking about the Makarov. It's an interesting one. It shows so much potential, but the funny point was, and I've said this in the podcasts already, so it's not news, and if it was news, no one was meant to mention it. It's too late. The first Makarov was stolen 5 minutes after the first day opened.
Oh, right.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the second Makarov, the silencer got snapped off with the thread adapter still inside the Makarov.
Jeez.
Now they are models, I presume, but I hope that was feedback to send back to them and say we need to make sure that this doesn't get snapped off, because that would be a big killer on a pistol like that, is to lose the silencer inside.
Yeah, but trade shows like that, what's not nailed and glued and whatever, it will be gone. Like people's gonna take it.
Well, someone I was with, Pete, we went to the Glock stand, so the real Glock, not the Airsoft Glock, on the first day, and within, I think it was about 20 minutes into the first day, and we picked up, I think it was a Glock 19. As he picked it up, it came off with its lock, so you basically could walk away with this. Every single person behind the counter looked at him as he's holding it up, and then someone was running by to grab the key to lock it back up.
Wait a minute.
But I mean, you're right. This stuff needs to be nailed down, glued down. And Tiego's there saying the second one was broken. Yeah, it is an interesting one. Okay, so let's move on from ICS then, since no one seems to be overly on that one. Modify. Now, there are two things about Modify, and while Jim is here, we definitely want to talk about Modify.
Yeah, I love Modify.
Yeah. You came back now. Your internet will be stable for this part of the
right up until I go to talk again, and then it'll die.
Has anyone beyond me and Jim used a modifier rifle yet? The G1? Okay. Sarah,
Nope.
you'll
No.
definitely have to give a try of them because they are absolutely insane. They are so good out of the box. I didn't believe it until I used one. And as much as these guys were trying to sell me one as soon as I came through the door. But they are.
Yeah, but I think we'll be
absolutely
hard
insane
pushed to get the VFC out of Sarah's hand now.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
my baby, my love.
So to modify, release these AEGs. They've been going out for a couple of years now. G1, then they created the CQB, and now they've recently released the PDW. And they're fantastic rifles. That's their first ever AEGs, obviously being known for the the Mod 24. But now we have the gas blowback, which is the PP2K. So, did you see this one, Felix? You were stand next to it when we met each other.
Did we?
We saw the SRS, and I
Yes.
don't know if you've got the modify stand next to it or behind it.
No, I did not.
This looks insane. Okay, I'll have to grab an image because nobody can really explain what it looks like without seeing it. Modify PP2K.
PP1000, yeah.
So this is gas blowback. Anyone
Oh,
got
right.
opinions
I might
of gas
see
blowback?
it, actually. I'm not so. I don't know.
Jim, have you seen this? I think we spoke about this prior to, but I know you're not overly on GBBRs. Let's try and share my screen.
Same for me.
Yeah, see, this is the issues, is whether we can use them in this country with the temperature being as bad as it is. There we go.
Ooh,
So let's just open this up in...
that's different.
Let's open it up. So if I zoom in here, this is Yang from Modify. So this is the PP2K. Now, obviously, the white bit is 3D printed and it will be full black. It's their first ever gas blowback SMG, so pretty much like your MP9, and it is based off of a real Russian SMG. We can go PP2000, and there's a brilliant photo here with Vladimir Putin. Where is it? Oh, you can kind of see there. Where is he? There's a brilliant one where he's holding it. Typical. It seems to be not on there at this point in time. Oh man, it was a brilliant photo. We've all been kind of sharing that photo there. But there you can see, typical. That's a 3D generated one. But that is what you're going to be looking at. So it is gas blowback. So that top end where you see the metal bit pinning out will actually jolt back when you fire. So it'll open bolt on that front. So it'll bolt back. There is an adjustable nozzle, so we can change the FPS very easily. And the actual housing there is wider to give you increased velocity and increased recoil. So it should be quite a fun little gun to fire. My issue being is there isn't a lot of rounds in the magazine. The saving grace is that stock. You can see the folding stock there. You can actually remove that stock, and then on the magazine there's a clip, and actually use the magazine as a stock. So it basically rests on the end.
That's
So
why.
you can hold a second mag.
But that's also how the rear one works, right?
You know what? I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe so.
I'm not really sure. Maybe.
I mean, it's a
I might
really
think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen something like this yet for the Russian loadouts, which seem to be increasingly more popular. It's an opportunity out there for the Russian loadouts for sure. And the other thing about it is it's 1.3 kilograms, which is extremely light if you want this as a sidearm.
That's perfect. I like the light stuff.
Yeah. But like I say, the big thing for us, will it work in the UK all year round? And I'm sure same for Germany.
Probably not. Put it in the closet.
Yeah, exactly. We don't really have the weather full year round, but who knows? Fingers crossed. Maybe sometime soon. Let's just switch that back there. So maybe let's take the names off since that's all. Okay, so that was my interest from the Modify stand there. I know there's definitely some people talking about it. We have been told it's out in September. Afons is there needing more LMGs. Oh man.
Oh yes, dude. Well, he knows what he's talking about. So
yeah, we need ones that work without going to HPA or Polar Star.
No, go to HPA that's where it makes most sense.
Yeah, but I mean that's when the cost goes higher than the GBLS.
Well, higher than the TM Mark 46, which I still don't think we know what the price is going to be.
Not yet. It'll be interesting to see when that one comes out. Okay, so what about the next one? ASG. We all, obviously, most of us will know of ASG products.
No, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, you sell ASG. You have the Evo.
I do, yes.
You have any ASG products?
no, I do not.
No. Okay, there we go. So, but you obviously know of the Evo. They have
Yes.
released the TEK skin mod parts. They are hideous.
You sounded so enthusiastic then.
It's comfortable. Don't get me wrong. It's comfortable. The magwell is really comfortable. Someone who's never used an Evo, not particularly keen on the looks of it, can't deny the performance is good. First time putting mag in with that magwell, not even looking, just go straight in easily. But it's like a space gun. Let's be fair. It's just like having. I feel like I'd need to dress up in Warhammer gear.
Go full Space Marina.
Yeah, Jim, you can be my orc.
Thanks. Dick.
Now you saw the TK in Shot Show.
Yeah.
What did you think then? I don't think you got to touch them, right? It was falling off, was it, or was that the other model?
Yeah, I mean everything was locked down on their stand. They didn't want anyone touching it or poking it or.
Yeah.
Be great when they make it into an M4. That's where I come out with it. I don't understand why it's only in. Well, I do understand why they're doing it because it's a CZ licensed product, as they like to say. But that technology would be so great in other platforms other than that, and I'll get excited when that happens. But a lot of people love Evos. I think if you're looking for an alternative to an MP5, they're really, really good. But I mean, I just find it's really small. It doesn't fit anyone that's sort of 6'2" and really fat like I am to run around with.
It looks odd, yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like a toy gun. I mean, it's like a water pistol. But I mean, as Graham said, the performance of it is amazing, and it's what ASG do well is make some really good performing guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, it's personal preference. Can't like everything.
No, I think you're right. I mean, that's the same thing for me. I'm not fond of the look of it, but also it's just not big enough for me to kind of lean into. It's the same reason I like my longer rifles rather than the shorter ones.
It's not bolt action enough for you, is it?
But it's great. Yeah.
Another airsoft sniper.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm particularly wasn't keen on getting an Evo. It was my other half that wanted the Evo. He said, "I've done my research. This is the one I want." And I was like, "It's ugly. It's so ugly." And then, of course, we got it. And I took it out to play, and yeah, she's fun. She's got some guts under that hood, and I was like, well, it's like one of those girls you get to know, and then you like them. So yeah, I do. I've grown to like it, but first off, I was like, no, it's ugly. So I'm with you on that one, Graham.
Yeah, well, if you had the tech skin in there, you could just double that. Definitely not for me on that. But like you say, talking about whether it will go into other bodies, it was a discussion on the day. I don't know if it's happening anytime soon, but there are talks about whether they can put it into other models, which is when I'll get interested for sure. Because, again, I'd be interested on that performance in other models and not another M4, Jim.
What's your problem with M4s?
Boring. I've got
considering I know you've got one.
Yeah, everyone's got one.
It probably took me 10 years to get one because I'm so resistant about having them. they're great at Yeah, but again, that's why I don't have a Glock. Okay, but what ASG were showing on there, which is new and it's completely new, I will try and grab a photo, but it's going to be pretty hard for me. The Universal Service Weapon. Anyone see this? And if you did, it would have been a bit of plastic on a wall. Let's see if there's...
Unlike any other airsoft gun.
Yeah, maybe I didn't play that one quite right.
Yeah. You got that comment.
Okay. So it is very, very early. They were literally showing off. Let's share my screen again. Let's go like that and like that. So it was very early days, and it was essentially just literally a lump of plastic. Oh, a little lump. Open a new tab. Let's see if we can get this and zoom in. This is obviously the real still version. But they were looking at whether this is a possibility, a B&T product. It'll be interesting, but it seems to be another SMG. So maybe 2020 or to the end of 2019 will be time where we start seeing some more SMGs coming out. If you haven't had enough of the 9mm rifles.
Well, I don't know what it's like over in Germany, but and I don't know what anyone else thinks, but do you not think that a lot of these small submachine guns and things aren't going to work on most skirmish sites now because everyone wants longer range, longer distance, and if you've got one of those in your hand, you're going to be the guy that keeps walking back to respawn because 8 snipers just shit all over your jam sandwiches, you know. And you stand there with a really cool gun going, "Oh, this is great," and then everyone goes, "Yeah, but
it has to have a purpose, right? If you have a CQB site, I think it could work really well, you know. And on the woodland, you might not be so happy with it as besides a sidearm, yeah.
Yeah, it might not quite be.
But you need to put it in the right place for sure. So.
I was just going to say, you'd need a drum mag for it if you were going to right.
Graham, I'm out. I'm done. Drum mag.
We killed the stream.
Sorry. I'm just going to unfollow you on Instagram. Drum mags, honestly.
Bye!
And this is why we have different caliber of players on this stream. So, and Ian's jumping in there. So, basically, a pistol with a stock, nothing new. It may look like one. I don't believe it will be sold like one, but that'll be yet to be seen. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one. Again, it's nice to see other products being done by ASG. Obviously, still licensed. B&T, we haven't seen stuff from them for a while. But another interesting one there. We'll see what happens, though. It was very, very early days. The other one I wanted to talk about was Silverback. Now, I know Phoenix saw them, and I don't think either of you are really fond snipers, right?
No.
I'm not a fond sniper.
No, but you felt the HTI, so you know exactly how cool it's going to be.
Holy smokes, yes.
Was this the limited edition one we're talking about?
So that is the SRS A1, and I don't know if I've even got the image of that one, actually. I'll have it on my page. Yes, the SRS A1 has got the limited edition 100 in the world, and if you haven't ordered one, it's probably far too late at this point in time, because...
that thing was insane. That was insane.
And then the HTI, which was one that, Felix, you may have saw last year. I'm just loading up an image there. Right, here is the A1.
Oh, that's so pretty. That is so pretty.
I mean, that is absolutely amazing and crazily light.
It was amazing.
Not going to be good in a sand quarry, that's for sure.
No.
You should never touch a crowd.
Yeah. But
that is gorgeous.
An amazing rifle for sure. And the guys have done so much work to do that. There's actually more wasted metal after the CNC than what's left on the RAL, which tells you how much they've gone into it.
Yeah, it was amazing how he told all the nitty details. And wasn't this his personal one?
Yeah, so that one was, I mean, that was his personal one, absolutely, yeah.
Where he said he replaced even the screws with titanium screws to like save 40 grams. It was insane. So this thing was so mega duper light. It was very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does. So random guy Kev's asking about that. Andrew's there talking about the HTI, but yeah, I mean the limited edition one there, it's amazing. It is limited edition. At the end of the day, you're buying that if you're really into the brand, you want something limited. There's beyond the physical differences in the way it looks and being insanely light, there isn't any performance differences. But definitely a nice piece. But the HTI was something we saw last year, which is the 50 caliber equivalent of the sniper rifle. Huge. Last year, they were talking between 6 and 8 mil BBs, and we don't use 8 mil over here in the UK, but they've decided now just to go straight with 6 mil because there weren't heavy enough BBs to even fire with 8 mil to make it worthwhile, which is quite a funny one to think about. So the HTI has come out now. Pre-orders are happening. I mean, I might try and grab a photo now, but the thing is huge, right, Felix?
Mega. And it was so heavy. Oh my God. You couldn't hold it for more than a couple seconds.
Yeah, I mean, there's a image. Let's bring Jim in, bring that out. Let's swap back over here to the chat there. Oh, the other way around. There we go. So this was last year's. So this isn't. I'm just going to try and grab one from this year. This was last year, so when we can see it was concept. It's now actually finished. Let's see if there is anything. You can kind of see the idea here. And as a lot of people are already saying in the comment section there that it looks really cool, but there's no real benefit of a HTI of the SRS. You are 100% correct. It is purely if you want a 50 cal, it should feel like a 50 cal, and that is what you're taking along with you.
And it does.
What?
Yes.
Why is there no benefit to it? If you could elaborate on that.
Well, realistically, we've still got the same speed and energy limit of 2.5 joules in the UK, or 2.3 for sites. And so the SRS is already doing that and hitting out to 100 meters. This is just a bigger model of it. Now, there's more air in there, so there's way more air in there. But for us in the UK, performance-wise, you're going to get exactly the same. You may get something a little bit more efficient because you've got more air in there, and you may have to not require so much volume in your barrel, so you could change your barrel out a bit more. But realistically, performance-wise, you're not going to get any real difference. But it's more of a case if you want a 50 caliber rifle, something that looks like a 50 caliber rifle, this is it. There are Airsofters players without that, with the Barrett, which I'm sure a few of you may have seen. I know I've been to one site and seen a player run around with one. And when I say run, it was more like a crawl after the first hour. I mean, it's a nice piece.
So really, it's all about looks with this gun then, really, because you're not getting anything, performance-wise, anything better.
Well,
it's just the way it looks.
I mean, if you're in other countries, I mean, Finland, they have 16 joules. I mean, this ain't going to get 16 joules, but it's definitely going to go high up on there. So it's going to be a more of a suitable one. If you're into milsims and you want that realism, you know you are the sniper, then you can go with something like this. But yeah, you're right. Beyond that, really, in the UK, it's probably not the biggest market beyond collectors. And Jason's just saying they're very good workhorse. He sells the Silverback SRS there, so probably a workhorse that keeps on delivering. Yeah, it's more of a case of it's cool to have. I don't know how feasible that would be on a skirmish, that's for sure. I'd like to think some milsim players may consider it, but it's a long way to go for that.
Oh, yeah.
And again, once you start adding the scope on there, the silencer on the end or the suppressor on the end.
The suppressor was giant. Holy smokes. Even the suppressor was a giant. This is like free workout included.
So that was pretty much Silverback. Love what the guys are doing. Think it's amazing work, and they won Sniper Rifle of the Year, which is an amazing accomplishment to take away from TM. I'm not sure how they wrestled that out of the hands of TM, but congratulations to those guys there as well. So Felix, was there anything particularly from IWA that you saw?
Yeah, my highlight, besides of course meeting people, like the community standpoint of IWAs, I think why I went this year. It's like, for me, it's just like meeting the people, hanging out, having fun, and then also like talk about stuff like that you have in common, right? And but product-wise, for me, I was super keen to see the new MP7. I was all about the MP7, the new Humerex Elite Force MP7 AEG.
Say by Humerex. I'll see if I can grab a photo of that one now. And this is the AEG version, right?
Yes, AEG version. So it's like the first one with the proper body markings, everything as an AEG version. So they did redid the whole gearbox as specifically designed. It looks super weird. You would never take it apart. But yeah, it had some interesting features, and I'm really looking forward for the release.
No, cool. I didn't even get to the Humerex stand that weekend. It was that busy.
Oh, geez, man. That was a giant booth. They always have, they have the biggest booth of all. And no, but it was nice. So they had the magazines also have a cutoff, so it stops shooting when the magazine is empty. It pushes in all the BBs, and some little stuff. But yeah.
So while you mention that, while we've got all four of us here, cutting off after 30 rounds, 60 rounds, whatever, when your magazine's empty, do you like that? Do you dislike that? Is it something that you strive for in a gun, or is it just a case of if it's there, great?
I like it.
So we go for you. So you like it?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Again.
No, I think it's a little bit more for the immersion part also, but sometimes you don't really notice, or sometimes, especially with shooting HPA, you sometimes don't really hear it when you're fully in the situation and stuff's happening, and then you should shoot just nothing, air. Then for that it's good. For that I like it.
Sarah, thoughts?
Sometimes I don't even realise it's happened. I'll be just shooting, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm empty now. But no, it's not really an issue for me, really. It doesn't really bother me at all.
If you didn't have it, or you could disable it, would you disable it or would you leave it on?
Just leave it on. Because then you'd know your chamber's clear, then, wouldn't you?
Yep. Jim, do you care? Is it something that bothers you?
Ban all high caps. Ban all high caps. And box mags and all of that. Get rid of all of that shit. Put realistic lockouts on them, on mid caps and even low caps. Make people change your mag. Fed up with spray and pray and HPA guys running high caps just does my head in. I just want to literally kill everyone. But no, put it into all mags. I mean, I think it will only benefit the game more, and will stop people from just camping behind whatever pallet is at your site that you hide behind on a regular week in, week out basis, because every time someone has to change a mag, that gives someone the vital seconds to go up and gain some ground or do something. And I think it'll encourage more more players that are looking for more realism rather than people have got to play paint, don't play at Airsoft.
You mean you don't love that jingle sound of the high caps running everywhere, giving away your spot, your hiding spot?
As a retailer, I really love that sound. That's the sound of money. But as a player, can't stand it. Can't stand it at all. But everyone's going to start somewhere, so that's just my opinion. But let's put realistic lockout mags. And that MP7, I can't wait for it to come out. I've kind of heard that most of the stock of those coming into the UK is already gone. So I think we're going to miss out. We're going to have to get into the next batch of product coming out, because I think it's going to be one of the most desirable guns. If you're going to have a submachine gun like we've been looking at with these other ones, you might as well have one that's HK got the realistic lockout.
Yeah.
Totes.
Yeah. Lockout AEG, we'll be able to use it all year round. And the spare parts, hopefully.
Yeah, it's super light, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. And just for Jim's sake here, we got people commenting how much they love high caps and drum mags.
Unfollow.
I've never actually used high caps, but I'd be quite intrigued to use a drum mag. Just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it, you know.
What is wrong with you?
Well, use a drum mag if you've got a support gun. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So buy a support gun.
Yeah. I think this is different. Jim, we've been playing for so long, but we've been playing around since probably drum mags were around, and when they came in, we both just shuddered in fear and pain. I think as rate of fire has got higher, as FPS has got higher, or dual accounts got slightly higher, drum mags are definitely one of those things that definitely would cause tempers to rise. So I agree with you. There definitely needs to be a curve on them. When you start seeing people with ARP9s and drum mags on there, you just know you're in for a bad day.
Wow, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, but it's so little skill as well, isn't it? You know,
but you have to also remember, like here in Germany, we don't have full auto over 0.5 joules, so it can't really hurt you. So and when you're in a fully CQB situation, like we were kicking indoors, running around corners, this thing can, with that thing, you can have a lot of fun.
So, but then you have CQB with full auto?
Yeah. No, it was a big event on a really big site, and they had some warehouses and houses, and there you can, yes.
Wow.
Nice.
I'll take that off the list.
Still hate drum mags. You'll never convince me otherwise. I still think it's like you might as well just. Yeah, but you might as well just have like a core launcher with master mics in it. Yeah, if you want to.
I think that could be a lot of fun too.
Okay, well, I'll have the grenade launcher and I'll come to your site.
I think if you're going to do that with the ICS style grenade launcher, what you need to have is 5 master mics and 1 40 mic. It's like playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in the CQB environment, which one's coming out next? Kev, if you're still watching this, I know what your next video should be. Mm-hmm. Play Dizzy, but have a 40 mic in one of the shells. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm in agreement with Jim. There's almost too many drum mags being available. And I've never been a fan of high caps, not 10 years ago onwards. You know, never did. The ones that come with the box just get put away from me. And then I'll be fair, the only time I give it to is if I've got a rental or my other half's playing. And I'll be like, there's a high cap. I don't have to worry about running around looking for mid caps for her. But that is the case there. Okay, just rounding up then before we switch off from IWA. We had the Red Wolf stand. There was some cool stuff there and some pricey stuff there, to say the least. The Avatar was there, which shouldn't be there. And what did you think of the tanker model? I don't know if you guys saw this. I've just been talking non-stop about it. I love this after holding it. And I really wasn't expecting it. Let's switch this over now so everyone can see.
Oh, yeah. I like that. I really do like the look of it. Because it's different. It's different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of what I see. It as like, I'd like to have it because I'd be the only one ever on a site to have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Real wood.
I think you'd be the only person on a site because everyone would have left. And go and do your cosplay elsewhere.
Oh.
The real rifle. I mean, I'm not going to try and get out my SEAL team impression and then rock that out there, am I?
Oh, you know someone is.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I didn't expect to like it, but I do. And yeah, guilty pleasure on that one. Totally unexpected from me on that one. But, you know, it's not just another M4, Jim, and that's what matters.
But it's an M4 alike. I mean, I think, yeah, it does look like there's a lot of hard work gone into it, but that's way too steampunk, you know? and again, just, yeah, we're getting one step closer to playing Warhammer.
there's a lot of LARP going on, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like sites that allow people to run around with lightsabers and stuff like that. I don't think that should be part of the game either. But I'm not the one in charge yet, so.
Yeah.
You're not the overlord yet.
Yeah. Someone needs to be.
Okay, well, IWA this year for me was fantastic, really busy, loads of stuff to kind of walk away with. Definitely needed some days off afterwards for sure. Felix, you planning to go next year?
Of course.
Yeah.
Definitely want to go next year. It's great. I met so many people I already knew, like you, and all the other stuff, and met so many new people. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, I was a proper fanboy last year. But no, it's a good event. It's fantastic to see all the companies and people coming together. The odd bit of weird stuff with the dancing, but it all seems to go down as a fantastic weekend of just seeing the community and the industry everyone's putting together.
Yeah, and for the fun, and everyone's drinking beer together, like different manufacturers, different companies, they're all having a beer together. I think that's great.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, I think it is time for the news of the week. Saying that last minute sound effects. So the news for this week, it was pretty light, but because there's one really big talking point, which I think is only just started going out, and a big shout out to Brad who sent this across to me while I load this up. But essentially, and this is going to go on to talking point of something that we've discussed a few times in the past already. An event organizer in Norway, and I will apologize, this is mostly from Google Translation, so hopefully I've got most of this correct. But a company in Norway spoke to the municipal or the council about hiring some land or some area out there to play an airsoft event. And I'll load the screen up here. And let's just switch the overlay again. So a company had tried to hire a site out, an area there, and the council said no, unexpectedly. And basically they turned around and said, look, airsoft clubs all around the country shoot out several kilograms of plastic, which should really be biodegradable or degradable. And they now want the Ministry of Climate Affairs to get involved and take responsibility for the amount of waste, especially around the airsoft side. Now, obviously, we do have bio and non-bio balls, but apparently, through tests, that this bioplastic is not quite biodegradable, and the WWF basically said that airsoft is not a good thing for the nature.
It doesn't matter what you think!
And that had to roll out. I had to get the WWF out. I know you guys all knew it was coming, but it has to be done. So WWF basically said that there's too much damage going on, and they're even talking about nature suffering because of these BBs. And they went down into the breakdown of these BBs were down in 60 degrees and how long it took to break down. And they actually did test. I'll have an image here for anyone who's on the stream here of BBs in 4 separate tests there. So some were in water, some were in some sort of soil. Some looks like they were put in your Sunday lunch. That's when you find that BB in the back of your throat you didn't realize you had happening. And some are in some soil. And they were basically saying, look, they've tested them for 2 years and they're not degrading. So where this leaves airsoft at the moment is obviously not really impacted, but now it's on the radar over there in terms of what the plastics are doing to the country, to the farmland, to the woodland area and nature. Whether we'll start seeing a bigger impact, hopefully it's not talking. We're not talking bans, no scaremongering or anything like that. But what we may be talking about is forced bio BBs, which will be interesting because we've kind of seen some countries do that in the past. I mean, Felix, did Germany run bio only?
Yeah. So if you play outside, it has to be bio. Like even at sites, they stand in the entrance with pliers. Like they stand there and you have to present them their BBs, and they're gonna take one and they crack it, and they can see if it explodes, it's plastic. If it just crumbles, it's bio.
Really? So they actually go that way to test it on site?
Yeah, on some sites, yeah, totally.
So that is interesting. So what's to say someone doesn't turn up with a handful of bio and then just use non-bio for the rest of the day? I mean,
well, that could happen. You could have this, like the Norwich BBs in your bag, and just play with them, like the super heavy ones. I believe they're not biodegradable, or the first ones were not. You could totally do that. It's up to you and your ethics, I would say. Ethics, yeah. Yeah, it's a tough thing. Like, but were they saying they were using biodegradable BBs and they were not biodegrading, or was it plastic?
What they're saying is some of the stuff that's labeled as bio is clearly not bio.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I believe that.
We've seen this in the past. Companies will say it's a bio and not necessarily be correct. And what they're saying on this report here was that if you assume there's 10 players on each team, there's about 10,000 to 20,000 BBs loose every single time, which is about 5 kilograms of bioplastic per game. And
ban box mags. Lock out some magazines, just problem solved.
So what does everyone think? Is this a trend? Are we going to see this? I know in the UK that we're not forced. I know some sites ask you to and recommend you to, but it's not something that's heavily enforced over here.
It's something that I was conscious of because I thought we're pummeling so much plastic into the woods. There's got to be someone's going to one day go, hey, what's going on here? And in other countries like Germany, they already have and they've enforced it. But I bought a bag and I was going to use them. And then I spoke to the guys at Platoon, I spoke to Pete and I spoke to Jim, and they explained that they expand and they can damage your gun. So they aren't worth having anyway. So unless they create good quality bio BBs, no one's going to buy them. So it's not going to work as a thing anyway. Do you see?
Yeah, Jim, you got anything to add to that one?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think this is like when you start getting into the business side of airsoft. And bios work if you can buy them in small enough quantities, use them on the day, and you don't have to worry about storing them. If they're stored in bottles, it's a lot easier than a lot of the ones stored in bags, which tend to let a bit more air in anyway, and that causes the swelling. I mean, our experience was we ran a site that enforced bio BBs on us, and it was nothing but aggro the whole time, and partly because the quality of some of the BBs is so bad. There are some good quality ones, but you got to use them quick, and you don't want to sort of have them. I haven't used these for a month or two and then try and use them, because in my experience that's when you then get jams and you get all sorts of aggro with them, and it's I mean, to be honest, fuck the WWF is my opinion on this whole thing. Like, go worry about pandas and stop fucking about with airsoft, because I'm fed up with people coming in trying to say this is what airsoft should be doing. And I mean, at the end of the day, most of these sites are on private land, and it's really down to whoever the landowner is as to whether or not they're prepared to have it. A lot of these sites are sites that can't be developed either, so that, yes, on an environmental point of view, I think eventually it could become an issue, but let's start binning plastic bottles that we drink from first. I'm a big fan of brands like Clean Canteen that are trying to end plastic bottles. I think tackle that problem first, and then let's worry about airsoft. Let's not sort of jump the shark and start kind of I mean, use plastic. Plastic can be really, really good. I mean, now I was talking with a plumber that was like, most of the new heating systems and stuff have all got plastic ducting, and it's like, well, how long will it be before the WWF starts saying, well, this is going to affect koala bears' eyes or whatever shit they're banging on about now? Because really, just get a life. And the funny thing about that story, if I'm going to jokes about it, is when a council of anywhere in the world wants to tell you that something's environmentally disruptive, it's like, okay, tell me that from your paperless office, fire half the staff that you've got, talk about bureaucracies that scum of the earth telling you how you should do things. It's like, go fuck yourself. The guy should have just ran the event anyway and told them to do one. Because I bet it didn't even come down to the BBs. I bet he just was like, they were like, no, we want you to pay another, 10 grand on top of it because that's what we feel we deserve. And, and that's then the story that comes out to make them not seem very, very greedy. But, fuck councils, fuck the WWF, and fuck paintball.
The part of the article I liked most was the seagulls get very excited over the BBs. It's like, do they play Airsoft too then? I was like, wow.
Fuck seagulls. They're rubbish as well.
I think that meme where the seagulls covered and it's like, take your hits. I think that meme just goes straight to mind.
Seagulls are the worst for littering anyway. They steal food and ask anyone that lives in Brighton about seagulls.
Yeah.
Felix, so obviously you play somewhere where bio is required. Do you have issues with swelling? Have you noticed that, or is it a case of?
No, never. I buy the G&G. Was it like 3.2 gram, 3.3 gram? They're like grayish.
Yep.
Never had an issue, and everyone's doing so. So for us, it worked really well. But usually you use the entire bag, and then you dispose the rest. You either like put it home and you put this little like moisture absorber inside,
yep,
or you will like put it in the big bag for grenades. So you usually you start with a clean bag on game day. So then I never had issues, and I think everyone who plays outside should use them. Simple as that.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely an interesting one because I mean I've suffered several times with swollen bio BBs. One of them completely killed the barrel at the end of that one. It was just
really?
Get it out. It was just stuck in the middle. There's a well-known incident from one company that had massively swollen BBs. Back in the day when suddenly every company panicked and started throwing silicone packets in the BBs to hope that it would still last while it was on the shipping container over here. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If you're not going to go through them or you're not opening a clean bag every time or a clean bottle, as soon as that moisture gets in, you're definitely going to suffer. And if you're only playing once a month, then that's when you got the issues. But I agree, there is obviously that level of responsibility within the environment.
I think so.
How much of these BBs, and again, I mean, this is not my field of expertise, but if you're walking around and treading into the ground and the BBs are on there and they're covered up, surely they need light to degrade? They're not just going to sit in the soil. So
it might take longer.
I wonder how much the bio itself is even going to help on that respect if it's underground or been trod into. And I mean, most especially woodland sites, you're obviously getting a lot of light in anyway. It's definitely an interesting one. As someone who worked in the food industry back when we had the plastic tax coming in and the change there, the plastic bags and all that stuff, I did say at the time, how long until airsoft flies under the radar? Because we must be still using quite a lot of plastic from that. But again, it's such a small amount. It's whether there's really enough. I know a lot of the companies are already saying they're reusing BB bottles are already recycled. But you can't really ask the same for BBs. Maybe we should tell every rental, these are recyclable. I'm just getting to pick out. Look at Jim. Jim's panicking now. He's like, no, that's my rental. That's my rental.
See what that does firsthand. It's like, no, don't put BBs back through a gun.
Well, I've got a joke now.
No, but I mean, yeah. Again, I think it's great to be environmentally friendly and leave a lasting footprint for your kids and all that sort of stuff, and it's great. But bio BB is also more expensive. At what point does it stop people from playing? Because I mean, the bit that I don't understand, and there's probably smarter people out there than me that will be like, no, but when recycled materials are more expensive to buy than
the original materials.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost of that, come on, Jim, come back. There we go.
Yeah, I just think bio BB should be cheaper. And if they were cheaper and available in smaller sizes, or more realistic amounts, then yes, there should be no reason shouldn't be using them. But at the moment, there's every reason why we shouldn't be using them, because at the end of the day, it can be just as detrimental. And why limit it to just outdoor sites? Why not all airsoft? CQB sites should be just as environmentally conscious. It's like, I don't think you can come down on one side or the other with it. You've either got to be all or nothing. It's like, or just say that, realistically, we have much, much bigger problems than a bunch of grown idiots running around shooting each other with plastic guns. Let's be serious about what we're doing. It's paintball and other sports that have tried to be, more environmentally friendly, all suffer from it. From what I've seen, there's always then a downturn in terms of people getting into it because it's more expensive, because it's, harder to find, or you can come up with a million reasons not to. So just leave airsoft the way it is. It's fine. It's kind of like, there's probably more environmental damage done to the number of cars going to an airsoft site than there is the plastics that are left in some woodland somewhere. And again, it's kind of like, promote car sharing first, and then we'll worry about the BBs.
Airsoft lives matter.
0.25 grams matter.
Hashtag.
Right, that's the next Airsoft t-shirt, sorted.
No, it should be fuck the WWF. Carlo's got it right with the panda already.
Well, I do think it's an interesting one. It'd be interesting to see what happens over there. I don't think anything will happen over here in the UK, at least. I know that talks about bio versus non-bio has been going on for many years. I don't think until we have a governing body or some legal reason to switch to bio that it will happen. I think it's different in certain countries where it's legally required, or in like the NABV where the governing body says you have to sell bio. I just can't see it happening here for now. And the other one is heavyweight BBs have still, I know they're available now, but it's only more recently that we started seeing bio BBs in heavyweights.
Well, also, I think just as another sort of perverse irony, that all the people that are promoting the whole idea of, going green are going to be the first people to bang anything that looks like a gun anyway. Just because... Yeah, well, the Green Party have already said if they ever get any power in the UK, all guns are going to be banned. That's going to be their first, port of call. And it's just like, okay, spoil the fun for everyone. Yeah, we'll all sit around wearing hemp clothing.
I'll take my vote here. I'll be fair. If you're voting based on airsoft, I think we've got bigger issues. But hell, Brexit. Well, I think that's pretty much the main topic this week I wanted to talk about with the airsoft news, and we'll have a look as to seeing what's happening next week. I think that about rounds up the show. If there's anything anyone wants to specifically talk about beyond that, if not, we will go and start shilling where people can find us.
About the BU, I think it should be possible for all the manufacturers to also do everything everyone wants, fully biodegradable without any issues.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's a good shout. If manufacturers stopped making them, then we wouldn't have the choice.
Yeah, but the guns are made of plastic. Well, we're going to have biodegradable guns next.
But you shouldn't leave them in the forest.
Yeah, but what happens when you're done playing airsoft? What do they just go out into the wilderness? Or do they end up in a landfill as well?
No, but it happened before that I had to pick up the poop of my dogs, and there were BBs in the poop.
Well, I will say now, I'll do a public service. If you're for some reason leaving airsoft and you have no idea where to home your airsoft guns,
make sure it goes in the right recycling bin.
For a 10p phone call, I will come along.
I can't wait for the first. I can't wait for the first plastic recycling bin to be opened at the recycling centre, and the guy goes, "There's a fucking gun in here, shit!"
Yeah, absolutely. I always laugh when they have the knife amnesties and stuff like that, amnesties, and it's like someone's always like, "I've got the airsoft stuff to bring there." I get the fact that some people move out. The one we're seeing a lot in UCAPU is the kids will get older and move out, but they've left all their stuff in the loft. And the parents go in there, years later, go, so I've got this box of airsoft stuff. What do I do with it? So I suppose on that front, I can see it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be funny when stuff like that does happen, to be fair, because it's kind of like, what else can you do with it? At the end of the day, a lot of people won't even think about that if it's a gun. So it's just plastic toy, get rid of it. It's the bin men who open up the bins as the bag tears down the middle. Or the clear plastic bags with it nicely on show.
There should be a designated scrapyard for airsoft guns where you just take them and that's where they go and that's their safe place to die.
It's here. It's here. The address is on the website. Feel free to send them along. Might even donate for charity to WWF for the goods, just to please all the people. Oh look, he just quit the stream on that one.
Yeah, he's gone. He's had it.
No, it's the internet, I swear.
Okay, well, guys, that is the run-up to the end of episode 1 of the Airsoft Radio. We hope you have enjoyed it. Let's start with Felix. What's coming up with the channel? Are we seeing any more videos for you anytime soon, or is it just hopping onto the Instagram feed? Oh, I knew it. I was going to say, I did see his face go out. There he's back.
Ooh. I was like, ooh.
I was just saying, what's coming up on your channel? Have you got any more videos coming out, or is it?
Yes. So I'm trying to push out a little bit more videos every now and then. Maybe not every week. Still really busy with work, so I have to do that. You have a personal life, whatever. But I still have some great clips, and I want to push out some more. Of course, got to go play again, and then Instagram. Always I'm trying to do new things, and there's new stuff coming on Insta. Definitely.
Yeah, guys, also, if you haven't already checked out Felix's YouTube channel, go check it out, because it is one of the most undervalued YouTube channels I've seen for airsoft point of view. And some fantastic vlogs and very much kind of cinematic airsoft videos, I think would be the best way to put it. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, you can find me at PhoenixFeatherAirsoft on YouTube, Instagram. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, Facebook. But I don't really use that Facebook, but yeah.
Sarah, where can people find you and what are you up to?
I'm just going to carry on playing. Keep my Instagram up to date with what I'm doing. You can find me at _tactiquin, and I'm also on Twitter. I pretty much post the same sort of things on Twitter, just a bit more opinionated. And my Twitter is ctactiquin.
Nice. And where are you playing? You got a game coming up this weekend?
I am going to be at Ace Combat in a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Jim, while you're here, over to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to plug anything other than I do want to say there's a guy on Instagram, _Hulk. He's messaged me during the show. Cool guy. Follow him on Instagram. Yeah, if you want to follow me, great. It's at Platoon Gym. I'm not going to plug the shop or anything like that because that's not what I'm here to do. But if you disagree with anything I say, I don't really care.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm just
Jim isn't here to represent the shop. He's here because me and him like to argue for hours on end, and after 2 hours on the phone, we go, we should have really recorded that one because it would have been funny for other people to listen in.
That's too late.
Well, guys, that is the end of episode 1. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you're watching this, it means you're here on Airsoft Nation, so make sure you have hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, the subscribe button. If you're on Twitch, I think it's the follow button. That's a new one to try out. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back here next week, 8 o'clock, for episode 2. A guest will be announced in the week. And finally, if you do want to hear this out on a podcast, it will be up on iTunes and your Android equivalent in the coming days. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.